I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the pledge of the flag, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody, to the July 8th meeting. Let's get on with our normal business. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of June 17th, 2015?
So moved, sir.
We have a motion. Do we have a second on the minutes?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial report and payment of the bills. Do we have a motion to approve the financial report and payment of the bills?
So moved.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? Real quickly, Steve, is this the end of fiscal year 15?
There'll be more checks that will be charged in fiscal year 15. They'll be accrued and will be payable. So the next couple of meetings, there'll be checks presented and expense to the prior year.
I'll just real quickly, if I could, read off that in our fund balances, we currently have $870,000, $849.61 in the general fund. We've got $1,908,353.35 in the water fund. We have $5,971,515.80 in the major facility fund, and we got $7,282,842.15 in the sewer fund for a grand total of $16,033,560.71. Any other comments or discussion about the financial report? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's see, I think we have the resolution R8. You have it, Lewis?
No,
Or do we have a budget?
I think Jeannie has it.
Oh, Jeannie, come on down. Miss Jean Minner.
Miss Minner.
Miss Jean Minner wants to talk about the Community Legacy Grant application.
Yep, what you have before you is a resolution in support of you have R8, Community Legacy, is that the one?
Yep.
The first one, okay. So this is a grant application for additional funding through Community Legacy for the Facade grant program. Would you like me to read the resolution in its entirety?
Is it short?
Sort of.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so it's a resolution of the Mayor and Commissioners of the Town of Elkton approving the application and receipt of financing for the Elkton Facade project, the project. Further described in the Community Legacy Grant application, the application to be financed either directly by the Department of Housing and Community Development, the Department of the State of Maryland, or through other departments or agencies of the State of Maryland. Whereas the Town of Elkton recognizes that there is a significant need for reinvestment and revitalization of the communities in the Town of Elkton, and whereas the department, either through Community Legacy or through other programs of the department or in cooperation with other state departments or agencies, may provide some or all of the financing for the project financing, in order to assist in making it financially feasible, and whereas the project is located within a priority funding area under Section 5-7B-02 of the Smart Growth Act, and the project will conform to the local zoning code, and whereas the applicable laws and regulations require approval of the Community Legacy project and the project financing by the Mayor and Commissioners of the Town of Elkton, and where appropriate by the Chief Elected Official, Executive Official of the local subdivision. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Commissioners of the Town of Elkton hereby approve the request for financial assistance in the form of a grant or loan up to the amount of $50,000. And be it further resolved that the Chief Elected Executive Official be designated and is hereby requested to endorse this resolution, thereby indicating the Mayor and Commissioners' approval thereof. And be it further resolved, Mayor Robert J. Alt is hereby authorized to execute documents and take any action necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution. And be it further resolved that copies of this resolution are sent to the Secretary of the Department of Housing and Community Development of the State of Maryland.
Do we have a motion to accept resolution R8-2015?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion about the legacy grant application for the facade project? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we have one more. You doing that one too?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, we have Resolution R9-2015, which is the Strategic Demolition and Smart Growth Impact Fund Grant Application, and this is in regards to Rudy Park project.
Correct.
Okay.
So, this is a resolution of the Mayor and Commissioners of the Town of Elkton approving the Strategic Demolition and Smart Growth Impact Fund application by the Elkton Housing Authority and its financing request for a Strategic Demolition and Smart Growth Impact project further described in the Strategic Demolition and Smart Growth Impact Fund application to either directly by the Department of Housing and Community Development of the State of Maryland or through other departments or agencies of the State of Maryland. And again, this says the Town of Elkton recognizes that there is a significant need for reinvestment and revitalization of the communities in the Town of Elkton. And the whereas the Elkton Housing Authority proposes to develop a strategic demolition and smart growth project as further described in the application, the purpose of which will be to contribute to the reinvestment and revitalization of the area. And whereas the department, either through the Strategic Demolition and Smart Growth Impact Fund or through other programs of the department or in cooperation with other state departments or agencies, may provide some or all of the financing for the project in order to assist in making it financially feasible. And whereas the Strategic Demolition and Smart Growth Impact Fund project is located within a priority funding area under Section 5, under Section 5-7B-02 of the Smart Growth Act, is located in a sustainable community as identified in the Sustainable Communities Act of 2010, and the project will conform to the local zoning code. And whereas the applicable laws and regulations require approval of a sustainable community, the project and the project financing by the Mayor and Commissioners of the Town of Elkton, and where appropriate by the Chief Elected Executive Official of the local subdivision. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Commissioners of the Town of Elkton hereby endorses the project and hereby approves the request for financial assistance in the form of a grant or loan up to the amount of $500,000. And be it further resolved that the Chief Elected Executive Official be designated and is hereby requested to endorse this resolution, thereby indicating the Mayor and Commissioners' approval thereof. And be it further resolved, Mayor Robert J. Ault is hereby authorized to execute documents and take any action necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution. And be it further resolved that copies of this resolution are sent to the Secretary of the Department of Housing and Community Development of the State of Maryland.
Do we have a motion to approve Resolution R9-2015?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I just wanted to see where we are with the Rudy Park project. I know a couple of years ago it was done once before. It was revitalized a couple of years ago. But what I want to know is how are we using that community center, not just in that area, but there's a few other areas I would like to recognize that the center used to be used at one little community center building in that project.
In Hollingsworth Manor?
No, this is
Rudy
for
Park.
Rudy
Oh,
Park.
in Rudy Park, I'm sorry.
Is that
not-
something in the plans to get that back up so that people can use it?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that, and unfortunately, Ms. Osborne is on vacation this week.
Well, we just like to bring that to attention because the same way with Windsor Village, I like to see those buildings being used for the community to be able to use them for certain events. And I'm not aware of it being used. That's what.
Yeah, I'll make sure that Ms. Osborne comes in and speaks to the board as to what
Just
the
address
plans
it.
are. They're going to demolish the entire project and redesign it.
Okay.
So I assume that will entail new community centers.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, both were very actively used at one point. Matter of fact, the community was coming in and using the buildings, and then they changed that process and then allowed the tenants in the areas to use it, but there's been a withdrawal of use as of late for either one of those buildings.
Last time I know it was used as a storage building.
Oh, geez, okay, I'll pass those questions on to Ms. Osborne.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
All right.
Motion carries. Thank you, Gene.
Thank you.
Lou, you are on.
My turn.
Yep.
The first item I have is a memorandum of understanding between the town and the Maryland State Highway Administration. And this has been going back and forth for, I don't know, a couple of years. And it's been finalized. This MOU allows the town to place 4 wayfinding signs in state highway rights of way, along with some trailblazer signs. The wayfinding signs will have to be placed prior to December 31st, 2015. And the remaining trailblazer signs, which are scattered throughout the town, have to be in place by December 31st, 2016. The town is entirely responsible for the design, construction, placement, and maintenance of these signs. And there's an old plan that's been approved by the state highway. If the board agrees to this memorandum of understanding, executes it tonight, then we can proceed with the design and implementation of those signs over the next several months.
Do we have a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with the state highway? Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Next item, you got Resolution R7, 2015 Small Business Loan Guarantee Program.
Yes, this resolution establishes the intent of the mayor and commissioners to proceed with
Hold the
development.
mic up to you.
I'm sorry.
Hold the mic up towards
Oh,
you,
I'm sorry.
please, and speak into it. Thanks.
I set it up.
Turn it towards you.
The Resolution R7, 2015 establishes the intent of the mayor and commissioners to go forward with a small business loan guarantee program in which the town would guarantee certain projects that are approved by the town for development in commercial districts that are outlined in the resolution. The resolution provides for not more than $1 million to be pledged towards any one project. And if that project is approved, then they have to commence activity within 6 months and then provide progress reports to the town. It provides for further job development for projects over $100,000 up to 2 permanent jobs, but I'm sure that projects that would qualify for up to $1 million would have significantly more opportunities for employment that would be developed by those businesses. The program would not exceed 5 years for each individual project. There's a 1% guaranteed loan amount that will be payable to the town and held in the general fund. The total amount of the loan program would not exceed $4 million, and also provides for the development, maintenance, and amendment of any plans that put this resolution to effect and implement a plan to proceed with the guarantee program. We've only spoke with Columbia Bank so far, so I included in the resolution that it would be an Elkton Bank, so we're not familiar with any banks beyond Columbia and PNC at this point in time.
That was going to be one of my questions. If Columbia Bank was the only one, of course, it's written there as well. So would be any other bank in Elkton or Cecil County or where? What would that necessarily stipulate?
We'll have to go to those banks and find out what procedures they would require, because some of this process here, or the plan will be developed, will require that people who submit an application for a loan would have to disclose certain financial assets to both the bank and to the town. Some people might not be willing to do that, and some banks might not be willing to do it. We don't know yet. We know that we could do that through Columbia, but we have to pursue PNC or any other bank. But any person could apply for a loan for any bank, and then we'll just have to deal with that particular bank, that's all.
So it wouldn't be necessarily a Maryland bank exclusive. It could be a bank that's going to accommodate what you're asking there. Oh, we haven't got to that point.
I
But anyway.
couldn't answer your question.
Okay,
like
that's
that.
good. That's good.
Well, let's go ahead. I'm going to ask for a motion, then we'll do discussion if we get the motion in a second. Do we have a motion to approve Resolution R7 R7-2015? Do we have a motion?
I will make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Who's first?
That's a summary.
Second.
Second. Okay, discussion. I actually want to say a few things about the program in general. I think collectively, we started this process. Actually, I was looking back, and it was, I think we had Tom Laughlin here our first meeting in April, and then we followed up with the folks from Columbia in the May meeting, and now we're into July. And this kind of came up even probably a month prior to that we started discussing in general a guarantee program. And I think in general, I think the whole board, I don't want to speak for the whole board, but I think in general, I think the whole board loves the concept. There's some details that we need to fine tune as we continue to move forward. But I think in general, I think we're all pretty much fairly close, and I know each one of us will probably speak in regards to it. But the whole mission behind this resolution is that we want to take these underutilized properties and figure out a way that we can get people to invest in our town. And I think that this program will do that for us. And once again, the unique thing about by doing it by resolution, this could be changed at the next meeting, the meeting after. It could be dissolved. This program could be dissolved at any point. It could be added to if it's moving the right direction. But the economy comes back. Sometimes you don't need these tools. But I believe that we need this tool in our toolbox right now at this point to truly stimulate the economy. So I feel extremely comfortable with it. That's my 2 cents with it. Any other comments in regards to the program?
Personally, I think it will be, the resolution itself, it will be a new experience in the town of Elkton in trying to move forward. And certainly you made one comment that I feel that, there's going to be bumps and bruises along the way, misgivings and shortcomings, but certainly, you can always alter it or even terminate it. That's my spell.
I feel as though the small business loan guarantee program is worth trying and seeing if we can get some kind of action going on in some of these buildings that are not being taken advantage of. So, I mean, to me, it's a good concept to at least bring into our town and try to see if it will work. If it doesn't, just like Commissioner Gibbons says, we can dissolve it, and I don't think there's any loss in doing that.
Go ahead, Mayor.
I agree with everyone, with what they stated. We're taking buildings that are vacant that can be turned into blight, and that's what we don't want them to do. So by helping people along the way, we'll get this building purchased and put to good use and create jobs, more jobs here in the town of Elkton. So I think it's a great program.
Commissioner?
The mayor and I talked at length today about a couple things, and I am right along with the rest of the board as far as there should be some type of incentive for businesses throughout the town of Elkton, and I think that this is a good attempt at it. My issue, as I said earlier today, is there's not enough safeguards even in the initial resolution for me to feel comfortable to vote for it right now because of all of the as I said earlier, and the mayor agreed. At this point in time, you could drive a Mack truck through a lot of these loopholes, and there's a lot of questions that I have as far as the personal guarantor, and I know that different banks have different lending rules, and sometimes they don't need a personal guarantor. If you're a C corp, then are the officers liable for that debt if something happens? And there's, what businesses do we really want? Is an S corp, is an LLC, or any of the limited liability ones? I think that a fledgling program like this should be lower as far as the cap of $50,000, and I think there's opportunities, and actually one of the few articles that I read in the paper, somebody said I was in there and that I wanted a larger cap, or I wanted a larger ceiling, and I need to expand on that because I'm not the type of person that just throws out money. My comment was, is if Clorox came here and wanted to offer 1,000 jobs and they wanted to build here in town and stuff like that, would we do something? Damn right we would. I mean, we should entice businesses, but I think that there's other things that we can do. And the mayor brought up some thought-provoking ideas as far as waiving permit fees, because then you have assessments on houses and so on and so forth. So it's a long-term gain. But I've seen things like this roll out, limited and have very, very few changes to it. And, one of the other concerns I have is what kind of loans are we okay with? Are we okay with, a 3-2 arm? Are we okay with a balloon? Are we okay with simple interest? And I know from personal experience, being around banks, that if we sign on it because of a debt-to-income issue, a loan-to-value issue, a bank, and those people are still in that position 5 years from now, a bank will not let us off of that. So do we have the proper wording up front to actually get us out of that position? And those are the things that I'd love to see in this resolution before I vote yes. I'm all for a program at a limited exposure to the taxpayer because it's their money. Again, I do think it's a great concept. I just think that we're throwing way too much money at it at one particular time. There's a lot of other things that we could do, and can we exhaust? Commissioner Jablonski had brought up a neighborhood development thing. Are we going to require that everybody looks for any and every piece of dollar before the town looks for it? So again, I think that those things should be in the resolution well before we actually go to the table. I appreciate it. Let me have the opportunity. I appreciate the talk that we had today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
John, do you have any comments?
Well, Mr. Mayor, you tasked me with can't hear. Can't hear?
Microphone.
The mayor tasked me and my office with a two-pronged assignment, which was research. Research if, number one, is there any prohibition from the town doing this? And number two, are there any other similar programs around the state? The first answer is a simple no. We have not found anything that would prohibit the town from doing this. And in fact, the town has previously guaranteed loans in the past. So that's a simple no. We can proceed forward. There's nothing to prohibit us that we have found. Secondly, are there other programs, similar programs in the state? We found 3 similar programs, not exactly the same. We found one in Frederick County, we found one in Montgomery County, and we found one that may be most similar in Carroll County. Carroll County appears to have a loan guarantee program. We have not yet been able to pull the specifics and details of that loan program, which we are working on. In regard to Commissioner Van Reenen's concerns, Frederick County has a small business loan fund, not exactly identical to this proposal, but they do have one. Pretty much every county and many municipalities have programs that would encourage small business development within the town or within the county. Significantly, I have here with me the administrative guidelines governing the Frederick County Small Business Loan Fund, which is an 11-page document where they lay out their guidelines. This is probably a document like this would be the next step, further refining the specifics that would need to be applied. This program, as I understand it, would be applied on a case-by-case basis. People can come and make a proposal, make a pitch to the town. The town's free to say yes, the town's free to say no. So this doesn't commit the town to anything at this point, but that would be the next step. And we're looking for other programs around the state that we can cut and paste, beg, borrow, and steal. We don't want to recreate the wheel. A lot of people have already put thought into these programs, and we're going to make use of those. Now that we're finding similar programs, we want to reach out to the town attorney, the county attorney, and those people who can be of assistance in helping us incorporate those ideas.
Thank you, John. We have a motion on the floor in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, it's time for me to say a few words, I guess. Lou, you didn't have anything else, correct?
That's all.
Very good. Let's see, we had a couple of things here. I wanted to first mention, well, I'll mention that last. One, I think the hot topic that we have is fireworks. The town of Elkton, our board, about 10 to 12 days ago, we made a decision to postpone the 4th of July fireworks, and that may or may not have been a very popular decision for anyone that lives along Delaware Avenue or Crestwell Heights or Normira, or there was anyone that was going to host a party. But we did exhaust a lot of avenues. The board took into consideration multiple things. One, the parking of cars in Meadow Park was not going to be able to happen. We average about 600 cars, and we just were not going to be able to do that. We even considered maybe shuttling, having a position to where we could shuttle people into the park to take a look at it, but with the time constraints that we had, it was a little bit on the difficult side to put that together also. I think in the future, as we move forward, we'll look at those avenues, and we just wish that we had a place that was high and dry that we would never have to worry about setting off the fireworks and getting our residents of the town to the location to see them. But it was, we didn't postpone the fireworks for not because of lack of effort of not trying to have them. There was a lot of things that we put forward as a group. Every one of us had input. We tried to come up with a solution. We took a straw vote, and we've decided that we're going to host the fireworks on the September 18th, which is the night prior to Fall Fest. I think Fall Fest actually starts that Friday and into Saturday, so we're going to have the fireworks on that evening. So if anyone wants to dress us a little later with fireworks, you certainly can, but that was our dilemma, and it wasn't an easy one to postpone. Last week, the board spent some time at the Maryland Municipal League. We had it was probably, this was my 8th, 9th, 10th MML that I've attended, and I can tell you it was very rewarding for me. I attended everything from several different conferences that we hit, but I was very satisfied with the conference in general. And I was very fortunate. I was able to sneak out a day to hit the golf ball, so I was very happy about that also. But it was a very successful trip for me as the mayor of the town, and probably one of the things that I'm a little bit excited for, and I may get a little premature when I say these things, but one of the goals that I had, we're entering into a solar panel farm, which we're moving forward with. They're going to start construction, I'm assuming any day. I think all the permit process has been started. I always wondered why we couldn't build a bigger one. Why couldn't we do bigger and then produce enough electricity that we would be able to save all the residents in the town a substantial amount of dollars in their electric bill? I was always told, no, we can't do it. We can't do it. I met with the Maryland Department of Energy, and guess what? We may be able to do it. So we're going to be meeting with them soon. In fact, I had an email from them yesterday, and I did not return their phone call, but I will be on top of that, and I'll have the whole board involved in this. But I think it could be a great opportunity that they stated that we could supply electric power within our own 8 square miles. And they're going to come out and do an electrical audit of all the residents in this area, and they'll be able to tell us what we can do and can't do. But I think that'd be a wonderful thing if we could pull that off. So that was my MML. On September the 12th is the first home game for Elkton football. I'm not sure when the first home game for Elkton volleyball and what other winter sports I think they do. Is it field hockey in the winter?
Fall.
Field hockey is in the fall.
Is it in the fall?
Field hockey, volleyball, and football, and soccer.
Very good. Well, I want to paint the town purple, as we discussed on a couple of correspondence that the board had. So I'm going to just prepare everyone if anyone has any ideas on how we can do that and what we want to do. But we want to intimidate those opposing teams when they come into Elkton. They're going to see nothing but purple and gold. I know we have one of the former football stars back here of Elkton football. I'm looking at him back here. He's not saying anything, but I think it would be very appreciative when as a player, if you saw that purple and gold and the town painted purple, I think it means a lot to him. I'd like to get the board's permission to move forward with, in concept, and I know when we use the word feasibility study, but I think it's going to have to take this. I'd like to move forward with seeing if we could put a bulkhead on the creek side from the farmer's market to the Walter Baker Bridge. And my thinking there is, I had some discussions with Gene Minner and Lou George, that if you're going down Howard Street, you'll actually see the creek has started to deteriorate into the where the storm drain is. It's coming in, and it's only a matter of time. I think the town board probably addressed this a couple years ago, and the discussion was to keep the debris, or not the debris, keep the plantings in place and never cut them, never remove them, because that'll help stabilize the soils there. But I'd like to see if we could go ahead and maybe bulkhead that, and to take it a step further, I'd like to see if we could add like a kayak launching ramp, if we could get that done. We could have, that could be a beautiful area. We got plenty of parking. We could put some signage up, have a floating dock. I think they're about $1,000 for those floating docks, and we'd have a way that we could provide some additional recreation for our residents of our town. I think it'd be kind of unique. I had a conversation with American Home and Hardware today, and tentatively, if we can get this thing going, they would certainly be one of the ones that would rent kayaks to our residents of our town also, which would be great there. So there could be a nice little package there that we could start to do for anyone that has never kayaked. I'm not a big kayaker, but I see an opportunity for that. So I guess I'm kind of looking at either a head shake or a no, if we could start to get the pricing, the feasibility on whether we can move forward. I can get staff to move forward with that.
I just have some questions.
No, yes, go ahead.
Always. I think it's a great idea. How far do you think the bulkhead would extend back? I remembered, actually a couple part question. Let's start with that one. How far do you think the bulkhead would extend back?
I'm thinking from that little, what's that little floodway called? That little channel right there? I'm thinking, because that's a town property, starts there, doesn't it, Louis?
Yeah, the stormwater inlet, that's where it discharges there. Probably from there, run it in that area up. To
Run it up to the bridge. Now, on the other side of the bridge, it's already bulkheaded. I'd like to take a look at maybe getting that all cleaned out again.
What would happen with well, that would be in the study as far as the water getting behind the bulkhead, being on the farmer's market and laying there, because your bulkhead would be so high. And then, I hate to cut American Home and Hardware out of renting kayaks, but wouldn't that be a better suit for park and rec?
Could well be, yeah.
And then this way it would help them climb out a little bit.
Great idea.
No, I'm interested.
Let's see what the feasibility would cost us. That sound good?
That's great.
All right,
And we looked at others back there, June and I, a couple of years, could have been a couple of years ago, but there was grant money available then for fixing up some of them. I don't know if it's still available now.
I can look and see what's available.
Didn't we look into building something there before and we couldn't because of the Corps of Engineers or something like that? Louis, do you remember anything like that at all? Building something, a berm through there or something like that, right?
That was part of a flood control
Yeah.
program, but we abandoned that.
Is it something that would the state help? If we did the bulkhead and then still build a berm up through there, would the state?
The problem with the levee was,
Yeah,
when
you
the
know,
Army Corps of Engineers did the study, the flood study, they had originally recommended a levee on both sides of Big Elk Creek. Then the recommendation was modified to a levee just on this side of the creek, north side of the creek. However, the levee would have been on your park association property. It also would have impacted a state champion tree and create other problems with the drainage issues. You've got stormwater running off and it's going to hit the levee, so it'll back up against the levee. You've got to pump it to get it into the creek bed. So their final recommendation was just to flood-proof the businesses that were affected by flooding and have them reinforce their walls and the doors so they would be watertight in the case of flooding.
Okay.
Thank you. One other issue that's been in front of the board for many months has been the Buttonwoods parking issues. And we've been going back and forth with Buttonwoods about the parking, and I had John Downs take a look at the deeds of the property owners, and I think he has a solution for the board tonight.
Nice.
I think he has a solution, so can you enlighten us?
Sure. The mayor asked that we take a look at that, see if there was something that we could find, that I could find, that would help a solution to the obvious parking problem that's been presented and discussed on many occasions. And there was something that kept coming up in the conversations that we had that I think presents a potential solution, or at least it prevents the legal basis for a variety of options that's available to the board. And that is that if I can kind of trace just a Reader's Digest version of the history, and that is that the community was built, as you all know, with the homeowners association owning the common open space and the roads and the parking. But then there were covenants that were created, that were recorded in the land records, and the covenants cited the rights and duties of the homeowners association and the rights and duties of the individual property owners. And one of those rights was the right for each resident to have up to 2 parking spaces within that parking. And it was stated that they should be as close as possible to their residents. There came a time when the homeowners association became defunct. The property was quitclaim deeded to the town. The significance of the quitclaim deed is the quitclaim deed only conveys that which already was there. It doesn't create new rights, new duties, new anything. It simply conveyed to the town the property that was owned by the homeowners association with those requirements in place. So it didn't change anything. So the town now owns that property, subject to those rights of those homeowners to up to 2 parking spaces per unit. Now, I know there are going to be some mathematical problems about quantities and location, but it does give the town the ability to resolve that by either having assigned parking or restricted parking in some ways, and provide parking for each of those residents. And it might be a good subject, and I have made a recommendation to the mayor. It would seem to me to make a good subject for another workshop session to figure out, lay out, perhaps in conjunction with Public Works, figuring out how you could even put numbers on a parking space for the unit.
And that was the ultimate goal.
Right.
And I think there's a legal basis to do that. I think the red herring was at some point along the way, someone either just believed or took the position that because the town owned it, there couldn't be no restriction on the parking. The reality is the town took that property subject to those covenants that were already recorded in the land records.
Okay. Very good. So, Michelle, let's get that on the workshop. Thank you, John. We have 2 members of our historic Elkton, I'm trying to think of the name of the board. The
Historic District Commission?
Yes. 2 individuals whose seats are expiring, and I don't want to appoint them tonight unless the board wants to move forward without looking at other options. But we have 2 individuals whose seats are up. One is Brittany Swartz and the other is Paula Newton. And I just wanted to mention that. So at the next meeting, I would like to see if we could move forward with those renewing them for X amount of years, however many years it would be. But if there's any other individual that anyone has any interest in, please let us know by next week. All right, and I think the other thing I wanted to show to the residents and on camera is that the town, we went ahead and moved forward with our Elkton t-shirts. We've got a handful of these available. They're $15. How you like that sales pitch? But they are available. They'll be available tomorrow at Town Hall as soon as Louis puts a mechanism together so that we can sell these things. But we have the t-shirts available. I actually posted on my social media page a 1, 2, and a 3. This was number 3. It won, and that's what I moved forward with, and so we do have T-shirts available if anyone would like to purchase one. Lastly, before I finish up, I just wanted to remind everyone that comes to our meetings that please use our staff if you can. Our staff is here 40 hours a week. They're here Monday through Friday on most cases. Now, they weren't here this Friday. But if you have any issues or complaints, you can get it done a lot faster than sometimes waiting for us to meet. Because when we meet here tonight, we may not have the correct answer for you, but if you got the staff, they would make us aware of what maybe the issues are, and sometimes we can move forward a little bit quicker for you. So I'm going to remind that for a while anyhow, so I can let everyone know that. With that, Miss Mary Jo, you are on.
Okay. The first thing I was going to mention as well is 4th of July, and I really hope we get a Plan B so everyone is not disappointed with that. And the other was the MML conference that we went to. It was a great conference. I think the networking this year was better than ever. Many state departments there that we can go to and talk to and get the information needed, like Rob did on the electric. And I also wanted to, I'm sure you saw it in the paper, but if not, congratulate Commissioner Gibbons here at our town meeting for being recognized by the MML for 21 years of service. It was a very nice event, so I did want to say that. And I do want to push downtown this weekend. Tomorrow night starts Music on Main, the summer schedule of music, 5:30 to 7:30 on the corner of North and Main. And then Friday night, we have Paul's on the Pavement. Many businesses are involved with this, so make sure you stop downtown this weekend. I don't know about tomorrow night, but Friday looks beautiful. And enjoy some of the festivities and visit the downtown shops. And I do want to say one other thing, because we did do the guaranteed loan program. We do work with Department of Housing and Community Development, and Neighborhood Business Works, for if there's anyone out here that is a business owner or looking into doing what we've done, they have some great programs that you can go through as well, that I'd be happy to help you with, so please stop in. And I did give the board all one so they're aware of this particular Neighborhood Business Works, but there's micro loans and entrepreneurs and different things that you could get through the state as well. And that's it.
Thank you. Earl, you're on.
I'd first like to applaud Commissioner Givens for his time and service for being a town commissioner and being recognized, and it really was good to see him being recognized amongst the other officials. I want to talk about a couple of issues. Number one that was presented to me at Holly Hall, Hollingsworth Manor, I'm sorry. Not sure whether, Michelle, did we get signs? There was someone asked about signs for watch out for children. We needed that really desperately out there. Were they taken care of? Okay, I just want to make sure for the records, because the citizen did come to me twice about that, and I did put that order in. Okay, so and then the Parks and Recreation basketball program's going on this week. Having a good time. I have about 28 students there. It's being held at the Elkton Middle School. Unfortunately, it can only be held until Thursday because the school systems went back to not operating on Friday. Another good point where the town needs their own recreation center. People don't want to hear it, but anyway, we do need one because we have to apply by their hours, abide by their dates and time, and because of this, I have to run a program that starts at 8 and ends between 2 and 3. If it'd be nice to have our own program where we would have more students if the parents were able to make it to the time frame, which would probably be anytime after 5 until probably close to 9. So I'm just bringing that to the table because it is going well, and again, the program for the Parks and Rec, I think is very successful for the kids that are applying to the program. Other than that, I had a couple of meetings I attended down at the M&L, and it's a good learning process to be able to talk to different vendors that you associate yourself with and learn more about some of the different programs that they have to offer. Unfortunately, I don't have anything new to bring back, but the conversations and the information was still well taken. Thanks.
Thank you. Charles?
Thank you for all the acknowledgement for the award. At the MML, Lewis and I, we attended a workshop that dealt with the police cameras, which is going to be a new initiative across the nation. There was some material we brought back. Lewis, did you give it to the chief? You did? Yeah, it's very interesting. There was a video too that we watched as well. There's going to be a community picnic at Wright's Church on the 25th of July. They would like to have Bethel Street closed. The same occurred last year, so if that's permissible, please let that be. And Mayor, who is the football player in the back?
Bill Heath?
Oh, Billy. I saw so many people back there, I thought it might have been one of many.
Number 32?
Oh, you remember the number?
No, number 30.
Oh.
All right, I missed that one. You were 32.
Oh, just the fireworks, Mr. Blonsky, I absolutely agree that there should be a Plan B, and I would like to propose that it actually be on Fall Fest, that if we have to cancel it, that should be the given time that it's done, period. So this way, a couple different things, is that's one of our busiest times of the year for the town. Also, the residents and surrounding townships know that there will be fireworks there, so it should draw, and it's a constant thing. So I don't know how we make that happen, other than, that's my vote, I like it.
I like it.
But I would like to really see that happen every year if we have to cancel the fireworks at the last second.
That's a good idea.
The other thing is backtracking to the bulkhead. Sitting here thinking about a couple things. Is there any other reason that we would do a bulkhead other than kayaks?
Other than the erosion of the road,
Okay.
the erosion of the road is probably my first and foremost concern. But secondly, it would serve as a beautiful launching area for
It would.
kayaks.
No, I absolutely agree. Lewis, I'm gonna need some help and or guidance as far as cost. What would, if Parks and Rec would do it, what would the cost be for insurance? Also, what would the cost be for the kayaks and the life preservers, those type of things, if Parks and Rec was going to do that?
I never bought a kayak, I don't know.
Then who would you direct to find that information out?
We'll get Mary to look it up.
Okay.
You can get them all.
Well, before we,
Amazon if you want.
No, I think what DJ's asking is that he'd like to know how much per kayak cost, what the insurance cost could go up if we were to move forward with that program. Because it would certainly be a liability, or without
push that to
question.
the private sector, one or the
Yeah.
other.
I agree.
But I just don't want to go in blind to a vote, not having that information. And I think I'll end with that tonight.
Very good, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, this is the time of the evening we open up. Oh,
I did overlook one thing.
yep.
The employee recognition program policy was put in effect July the 1st. I meant to sit right in front of you. I overlooked it. So it is in effect as July the 1st. So we do have a policy in
Are you
place.
going to steal your thunder?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to take it.
I thought I forgot.
I won't take it now. Very good, it was well written. It's a 3-page policy, and it goes through the whole program, and it's, I think it's pretty detailed. Very good. Okay, this is the time of the meeting. We open up the floor to the public to come up and say a few words. Mr. Ron Waldrop, 242 Douglas Street, would you like to come down and say a few words this evening about, I think, town employees?
Ron Wardrop, 242 Douglas Street, out in here. Yeah, town employees. They do a good job, I can tell you that. I've talked to a few of them, and I'm not out to make any waves, but I like to communicate with people, see how they feel about their work and so forth. And I'm understanding that we're short on that because of people leaving. And the reason they're leaving is they can't support a family on what they make. That's the reason that they're leaving, and I can't say as I don't, blame them in a sense. Obviously, that's a rough job. I mean, you get a men out there working, and some of them really work physically hard, hot, and so forth. Town isn't going to like this, but I'd rather see the taxes increase. They're going to increase it anyway. They're going to increase. Okay? I kind of did a little investigating on what it costs to hire someone. You usually get about like $180 somewhere in that proximity to do what these gentlemen do. In a given day, in an 8-hour day. But I've seen these guys out there working over in the park at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, seems like. There's somebody over there just cutting the grass because they like to cut grass, and I don't believe that. So it tells me that somebody's ordered them to do that, to prepare, okay? Yeah, I definitely think they ought to make more money. I know some of them are rather young, because the older ones are retired or whatever, over the years, I don't know, but I assume that. But, and I think they're worthy of it. I think they may even work a little bit harder than what they do. I've seen occasions where it appears that they have to work overtime, and I think basically if you pay them overtime, you're going to override the budget that way, I would think. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But I can only, from experience in a lot of business that I had, I tried to alleviate employees from working overtime. And that's about it.
Thank you.
As far as that's concerned. The thing on the 4th, I think it's ironic that this happened, that we didn't have the 4th of July, which wildlife. You wouldn't have thought that we sure had them there. We sure had our fireworks there. And it wasn't under control. Meaning there were no police cars in there, and I guess there's nothing they could do about it. And if they could have, they didn't bother to even come over and look to see what was going on. And some of them fireworks they had were pretty expensive, loud, up in the air, over to the trees. One year there, our roof caught on fire on the house because of one of the rockets going up on the roof. So I know about that from experience. I sure hope it didn't, obviously it didn't happen. I don't know what's going on over where I live, and I'm not condemning the chief or the police department or anything else. But what I'm saying is this. I don't see the patrol cars going through there like they used to and so forth. And if they do, it's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then, of course, when they drive by, if you happen to be downstairs, I mean, your whole house is lit up, including the whole street, and half the neighborhood, if not more. That isn't the time for them to be going through. The time is to be going through when there's people out there creating problems and noise and so on and so forth. Now, I grant you, you can call in, but you make the call, within 3 minutes, they're gone. Within 2 minutes, they're gone. They're gone.
Yep. Then they come back, I understand.
It's like they have the town hall bugged,
Yeah.
I know that's not true, but that's what it seems like. They're just not there. Consequently, both houses, one on one side, got robbed. People were home. They went in the window in the kitchen. They stole a flat screen TV, they stole a computer, and they stole surround sound. And there could be some extenuating circumstances because of strangers, of children. I understand all that.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, two days after that, the house on the right-hand side.
Hmm.
Their shed got broke into, you know, and they both made reports, but nobody came to my office and questioned, did I say anything, or did we say anything, or did we see, you know, which kind of surprised me, you know, that no one bothered even. It's like they didn't care. They didn't catch them, so they didn't care. Yeah. It just, what gets me is to allow something like that to go unattended. If someone was to get in and the person that was there at home caught them, what would happen possibly?
Well, I'm sure
You know
that
what
I'll,
I'm saying? I mean, that's dangerous thinking,
yeah,
but it's the reality.
I'm sure that we were over there. I have a lot of confidence in our police department.
I'm sure they were
But
too.
whether or not we were there at the time that you were home, I can't answer that. But I will follow up with the chief for us.
Okay, I just want to, and as far as the fireworks now, I'm going to finish that off. I'm going to have them on a great day, you know. I just wonder, I can see chaos. I can see chaos. If you understand what I'm talking about here, that time of the year when it's nice, it's going to be nice out and so on, there's going to be people from all over coming here. At that time of the year, I'd almost guarantee you're going to have 5 times as many traffic problems that you know what I mean?
Thank you.
It's going to be a lot of people, so you might want to think about that.
Thank you, Ron. Okay, I'd like to invite Miss Ruth and Richard Holmes. Come on down from 32 Hollinsworth Manor.
I'd like to say that I think it's admirable that you have confidence in the Elkton Police Department, because I see them failing every day in the manner. The drugs are so rampant. The police officer parks down the end of the street, and I see them dealing the drugs 3 doors down from me, and nothing is happening.
You want to pull that mic up to you a little bit?
It's over.
There you go.
There you go.
And it's more a plead. I'm pleading to you as mayor and to the commissioners. Please, there are some decent people down there. We worked, you know, we're retired. There's another elderly lady down the street. I mean, we're not all bums and we're not all dope heads.
What do you suggest that we could do?
That the police department come down there and lock them up. They can be arrested. You can seize their drugs. You can seize their money. They don't have a lot of money. It won't take long after you seize this for them not to do it, because they won't be able to pay their big dealers. And the big dealers won't come down there. That's the solution, is lock them up, take their stuff.
We have a hotline number.
I used it.
Very good. And I know our Operation Saturation in Hollinsworth Manor has eliminated, has been a huge improvement. Let me put it that way. Now I know you're on row 3.
I'm on 2.
Row 2, and I know there's some challenges, and I would invite you to talk to the chief and or the captain after the meeting, and possibly have some discussion with them, because I don't know the plan per se.
Okay.
Chief?
I'd just like to add here, I mean, I appreciate your concerns, but as a result of our area saturation patrol, and in addition, our regular patrols, we've got crime in there down nearly 50%. These folks that are dealing drugs, it's not as easy as you think for us to just go in and just lock these people up. It takes time. And but I'm going to tell you here right now, Captain Rowe ran some numbers the other day. We're down nearly 50% in our reported crimes. Assaults are down 54% in there. And crime in town overall is down 8.5% from this time last year. So got to kind of, with all due respect, ma'am, I kind of contest what you're saying, that we're not doing anything in there. We're doing everything we possibly can.
I don't feel like you are.
Okay.
I feel like there's so much more that you could do.
And if
Just putting them down there is wasting the town's gas. and they get paid to do their job. That's what the town pays them, to do their job. That's all we're asking, do their job.
Man, the police department makes nearly 1,500 arrests a year, and quite a number of those arrests come out of Hollingsworth Manor. We're doing everything we can.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll go home and load the guns up, because that's exactly what needs to be done.
Okay, we've got Miss Peggy Morrissey, 102 State Street.
Yes, sir.
Where is State Street at?
I am off of Delaware Avenue.
Off of Delaware
I'm one
Avenue.
of the people, I guess, who was affected most by the fire.
Okay, very good.
But I am not upset that you canceled them. I understand why you had to cancel them. What I am upset with is your alternate date.
Okay.
I'm very patriotic. The first time Elkton had their fireworks, I sat on my front porch and I literally cried because I thought it was so wonderful. We were doing exactly the same thing that everybody in the country was doing that day, celebrating with your family and friends, with barbecues, and you're watching the fireworks. And the reason we have fireworks is because of a song that a man wrote right here in Maryland.
Yep.
The rockets' red glare, bombs bursting in air,
Yep.
a proof through the night. And that's what the fireworks are all about, patriotism. We have it on our license plates out front. The American flag, War of 1812, and fireworks. So what I don't understand is why you didn't consider having the fireworks on another holiday that also celebrates America. You have the long weekend of Labor Day, when the average American, all of us work. We all go to work every day. And what we're working for is the American dream. And we want it for our kids, and we want it for our grandkids. And that's why we're doing all of this. And I think you have to keep the fireworks patriotic. I mean, the Fall Fest is very nice, but it's about scarecrows and oak leaves and hay rides and pumpkins. It has nothing to do with America. And to me, fireworks are God bless America. And it's our
Understand.
way of saying thank you and we love our country. So I
Thank you.
just think they should be Labor Day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, does anyone else have anything to say this evening? Come on down here, Mr. Holmes.
Okay, Mr. Mayor. I want you to give me one good reason why you want to change the name of Hollingsworth Manor. I've been living there almost 72 years. I think it should be historic. The Hollingsworth house is historic. Why don't you change the name of that? It's not going to change nothing.
No. Actually, there was some discussion with some folks that came in from Hollingsworth Manor, and we actually sent
You sent them letters out to everybody.
we sent over 400 letters out this week, and it's up to you guys. It's not up to me.
I'm the only one here from Hollingsworth Manor, probably.
No.
Yeah, well, we got one
Your
more
niece is
behind you.
sitting back here.
Yeah, but it's not going to be up to us. It's going to be up to the comments if there's any need to change it. I agree with you. I mean, I
That's
know
going to be a
you.
lot of trouble. You got to change driver's license. It's never going to change the drug problem. It's always going to be there. No matter how many years, it's always going to be there.
Very good. Well, it's going to be in the hands of the Hollingsworth Manor folks. It's not going to be in our hands.
Okay. How about this Wawa? They quit tearing it down. How come we quit doing that?
Yeah, actually, any day now, I think the demolition permit has been issued or not been issued, Gene, do you know? That's actually from Chip. Chip would know, but the Wawa should be started
Do you
in
know if they're going to
April.
put a fence up or not?
They will.
Yeah, but they keep that. They climb my fence a day. I
I know.
cut them out and get them out of there.
Yeah, I walked back there right when they were having all the auction. I could see right into your backyard there.
I know. Okay, that's all I got.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, it is 8:05. Oh, Mr. Litzenberg, come on down.
No, just one quick statement. Marina Park was named for a purpose.
Yeah, sure.
You weren't
I don't
around
do there.
but they built a marina there in town,
They did.
which the first flood came through and filled it in. You've got the bulkhead on the other side if you want to put a place for kayaking or whatever. The ramp it's already there.
Yes.
And parking, you wouldn't have to do it on this side.
That was actually, we had that discussion. That was one of Louis George's recommendations, and I know Gene Minner said the same thing. Thank you. It is 8:05. This meeting is adjourned.
Time for memorial.